My name is Connor. I like Dragon Ball Z and stay tuned to my journey.
I'm Sharon Leal, Connor Leal's mother, legal and compliance secretary. It was a difficult pregnancy with, scared, miscarriages. So I had to be on bed rest for 3 weeks after I started bleeding at the office. So I had an incompetent cervix, so we struggled to keep and maintain the pregnancy. And my friend at the time had lung cancer, and she passed away a week before Connor was born, and all of that put a lot of stress on me, actually. I think that also contributed to a bit of the premature labor as well. And I had to be on hormones to maintain the pregnancy. And everything just worked against me in the pregnancy, I think. Literally, like the morning before my water broke, I worked in Rosebank, and a tree, because of all the rain, fell in front of the car in front of us, on top of the car. I had such a fright. It was about 2 hours later my water broke at the office. So it was just, everything was just working against me for this pregnancy. So Connor has been fighting since before he was born and had to take a lot of stress from me, I think, and on him. Even so it was a traumatic pregnancy, if I can put it that way. Then at 31 weeks, my water broke, and I knew that it's very early, and I was so afraid that he wouldn't make it. So when we got to the hospital, they injected me with steroids to strengthen his lungs. And they said, no, not all my membranes broke, so I had to stay in the hospital for a week. And then he started going in a bit of distress because there wasn't enough amniotic fluid to keep him going. And then they induced the labor, and it was 27 hours of labor. It was really tough, I can tell you that. Hence the reason we will not be having another child. No, it's not happening. No. That was enough for me to say no, thank you. So after that, when he was born, I think his first cry was amazing, but then it stopped. And then they rushed him out, and I didn't know where to touch and where to go, and I can't leave my bed because I literally just gave birth. So he was running up and down, my husband. He wants to look and see if I'm okay, and I'm shouting at him, go and see if my baby's okay. So I literally didn't want him here. I wanted him to go see. So in the interim, the nurses and the midwives and everyone ran towards him, and I felt like I needed to give birth again. So I delivered my own placenta by myself, because there was never no one there to assist me. So that was lovely, in all sarcasm. But but everything, I think after he started breathing again, and it was about 3 hours after he was born, they told me I could go see him, which I did. But then it wasn't the sight I was expecting, because he was struggling to breathe and he was like foaming from his mouth, and it wasn't pleasant. And then they sent him to the NICU, and I was just, everyone's congratulations, your baby's born. And I think every mother who had a premature baby would know the feeling of everyone saying congratulations, but you're not feeling that. All you feel is stress and anxiety of, is my baby going to be okay? So I went to the ward where all the moms were with their newborns, and I have none. Mine is somewhere else, and I'm praying that he's going to be okay. So that wasn't, it was very upsetting. And because I didn't want to sleep, the nurse came and gave me an injection to go sleep, because I needed rest. So the next morning I went to go see him, and then he was intubated, and we couldn't really touch him or hold him or anything like that. And he was like that the next day as well. And then the third day he had jaundice, so he was under the lights. And then they said, no, they can't even try and consider sending him home if he doesn't start feeding by himself. So we were obviously praying and begging, God to send a miracle our way, because he's so small. And then the fourth day they said, no, he's breathing on his own. He doesn't need to be intubated anymore, he's okay. So I was like, oh, thank you, Lord, and he's okay. And then I held him for the first time, he also. And I think that was the most amazing feeling. But then he didn't want to breastfeed.
Okay, I'm Clinton Leal, Connor's father. I'm a financial advisor and authorized principal of a short-term insurance practice. Yeah, that's me. During the pregnancy, it was quite tough. We were so excited when we found out she's pregnant, because at the first we thought that we were battling for 3 years to fall pregnant with Connor, and in between we had a miscarriage, and we went to my sister in Petersburg and for a weekend. And when we came back, we said we're going to go to the doctors to see what can be done to help us fall pregnant. We went to the doctor. The doctor gave her, the mother, a morning after pill to start the process and things like that. And it was in a week after that we found out she's pregnant. So that was, yeah, it was quite exciting at the beginning. We were just very skeptical because of the miscarriage we had, so we were very nervous and scared. And then, yeah, all drama started at about 3 months of pregnancy, where she had a threatened miscarriage, and it was in and out of hospital. She had to go onto hormones, and it was back and forth the entire time, which took a big strain on my working environment at the time. Because my boss didn't have kids herself, and she didn't really understand, and I was just trying to be there for my family and obviously for my unborn. Yeah, so it was very, very stressful. And then, well, at 31 weeks, 30 weeks, she was taken to hospital, rushed to hospital, and they said the baby's living off amniotic fluid. Because the water's already broken, and it wasn't ready. She wasn't ready for him to be born. But they injected it, gave her steroids to strengthen his lungs, and stayed a week there until the birth. And then yeah, so the birth process was also, it was horrendous. She spent a week in hospital prior to that, and then they induced her. Otherwise, he was going to be a stillborn. So they induced her twice. Labor was about 27 hours. She went at 9 o'clock one night, 10:20 the following night he was born. During that process, I cried so much because I felt her pain that she was going through. It was severe. That's where I said I will never ever let her go for a hysterectomy afterwards. I'll go sort myself out, because the pain that she had to endure during that process was just, I've never seen something like that. And then she stopped breathing a few times, or she forgot to breathe a few times. I had to help her and just try and do what I could to try and relieve some of the pain. And then he was born, and when he was born, he stopped breathing. He cried for a few seconds, not even very short, and then he stopped. Doctors and midwives ran off with him. They took him away. Now I had to split myself in two to try and be with her, because they still had to sort her out and fix her up and all that. And then they were going to try and keep him, stabilize him as well. And the midwife's words to me was, the baby's more important at this point of time. And so I ran to go and check where he is. And they had him on a scale where the scale showed 1.1, which I disagreed with. I immediately told them I disagree, they must get another scale, because they said, and I knew myself, if it was 1.1, the chances of him making it was very, very slim. And then I went back while they were still busy with him. I went back to see if she was okay. And then they came past there, and they told me I was right. He was actually 2.1 instead of 1.1. So that gave me a bit of a sigh of relief. But they still had to take him through to the NICU, where he had oxygen pipes, all that coming out of his. I remember just seeing him for the first time there with those pipes coming out of his mouth and his nose. It was just, it was a nerve-wracking feeling. And the more she wants to see him as well, and she couldn't because she's in so much pain herself. I didn't want to tell her what he looks like, to be the first sight of her son. And so it was just a nerve-wracking experience. And that went on from 3 months pregnancy right up until the birth.
He got sick again at 2 months with pneumonia, and then he became unresponsive and stopped breathing. So that contributed to a lot of factors as to what's going on with his health conditions and stuff right now. We were in ICU for 2 weeks, and the doctor said to us that he's at death's door. His skin was mottled, so that's a very bad sign. And for some miracle, he survived, and he was okay. And then he ended up being on antibiotics for a while, and we left the hospital, and he was okay. But I could see and notice that he wasn't the same. His sleeping patterns, his way of behaving, he cried all the time. Like literally after that, he was not the same baby. And our behavior was, I immediately noticed that because of all the pipes and everything, he couldn't keep anything in, and he's been having problems with his digestive system since then. So that is one of the problems that we faced, is Connor couldn't be laid down. He had to sleep upright because he would bring everything up all the time, even in his sleep. So it was difficult not to watch him while he was sleeping or getting your rest when it was needed. So I eventually put Connor in the bed with us. I was said, like, no, we have to watch this child. Cot here, baby here. Connor became my Velcro baby. He was stuck either to me or his father. It was like this: you, he, me. Connor never alone. Connor was in his carry cots. Wherever we went, Connor went. There was no even. We couldn't leave him alone for 1 second. It wasn't going to happen. And I think that is where my anxiety, it just started flaring.
And then at 2 years old, he was diagnosed with generalized epilepsy, because they didn't see any actual epilepsy on the scans that were done and things like that. So, but he also took very long to start walking or crawling. He didn't even crawl. He moved on his bum. So he didn't crawl at all. And then he would crawl up maybe on one leg and on the bum. That's it. And then he started walking, I think at 18 months, where he started walking, where he took his first steps, but he wouldn't even walk. He started running. That was Connor. And now if I see him now today, nearly 11 years old, well, if you take a fruit salad, he's got the entire fruit salad. All those little pieces inside there. Okay, firstly, Connor was diagnosed with epilepsy, generalized epilepsy, which we understand that might have been a misdiagnosis, which they're currently busy testing. And he's got ADHD, ODD, which is clear. He's got sensory disorder and major anxiety. Those are the main ones that he's currently got. And then obviously, with his eyes, he wasn't born that way. That started after he started having the seizures.
But then when he became like 6 months or so, we wanted to obviously put him in a school or creche or something, but because of his severe colic and reflux problems, no school wanted to help us with him. And my husband's boss wasn't very kind at the time, and she let him go. And then he ended up looking after Connor for 8 months, because in the interim we would try again at different nursery schools to see if someone would be able to help him in his condition, and no one did. So Connor was 1 year and 2 months when he actually started keeping his food down, and he was 8 months when at 6 months we tried solids, but he didn't want to keep it in, so we went to specialists and doctors, and they gave him different formulas to try and keep that in. And then at 1 year, 2 months or so, he was okay. He could keep things down, and he just crawled. He didn't walk, and I only started eating proper solids at 8 months. In fact, but he was picky eater from the beginning, and we didn't realize that is all signs of sensory disorder at a later stage. We literally just that was the beginning things that we only picked up later on, that those were things that started at the beginning.
When Connor was a baby, Evan was very over his little brother. It was his first sibling, and there was a strong connection between the two. Evan would just lay with him on the bed and play with him whenever he could and things like that. And as time grew, Connor became his own person. So I used to take Evan to school and all that, and I used to not drive to go fetch Evan. I used to literally push the pram with Connor in it, and just down the road to go and fetch Evan from school, and we would walk back up to the Lapa, stay there until she finishes work, and then we would drive back home. And then Evan would also want to push the pram himself when I fetch him, so I would let him push up there. I'd sometimes take them after school for outing down to the lake when Evan's finished, go have a picnic there, things like that, and assist him with his schoolwork. Not just him, but his cousins as well. So I was looking after Connor, helping with Connor, and then obviously assisting the others with their homework and schoolwork and things like that as well. Evan does get frustrated, as we all do, with Connor's ways and the way he is kind of being his own person. But you can see Evan's got a strong love for his brother, and a strong connection with his brother. And what makes me the most proud is that throughout Evan's whole schooling career, it doesn't matter what we've gone through at home, doesn't matter how tough things have been, Evan has pursued, and Evan's always been a top 10 student in his schooling, and he's now becoming a man, just finished matric, and there's a bright future ahead for him at the moment.
My mom was there for me throughout, from the day he was born, and my sister Marilyn, she's been my rock. In 2017, my mother had a stroke, which left her permanently disabled. And so obviously that support structure for me just went out the door. So regardless of having Evan and Connor, I still also help with my mother. But the way she was there to assist me and be there for me, she can't. She now needs someone there for her. So the rest of the family, it's been just too much. They couldn't tolerate Connor because they're afraid of his conditions, and they were afraid that they couldn't handle him or what he goes through. So they pretty much, how would I put it, pushed him away. His behavior and his ways and everything, they literally just shunned us out of the family. So family support system, I would say, is little. And then work-wise, I don't think I would be able to do and be who I am today if it wasn't for my boss, in fact. and some of my colleagues at work. They're a great support system. I mean, my boss also pays for therapy for me and to see a psychiatrist, and she lets me go to see them and go for parental counseling as well, so that we can maintain our focus in work-life, home-life balance, and to be there for, to keep me sane, if you can put it that way. But she's been there since the day he was born. And I think my boss is really an amazing person. She's understood. She's not been difficult or nasty, or she's always been caring. Even though I've been in different situations, she's the one that phones and says, "Is everything okay?" My manager has been great. And she's like my best friend. And my therapist, my work bestie. So I don't think sometimes that I would get by without them, because there's been some days that, you struggle to get by and you just want to speak to someone else and hear their point of view of things. And that helps, get you through the day, because you feel, and I realized, to keep things bottled up is the worst thing you could ever do. And sometimes you have to have a good cry. So, and then positive affirmations help. And then evening primrose oil, obviously, and chamomile tea, and coping mechanisms. We're just always there. And I think just trying to, and I know they say that you shouldn't try and be happy, but in our case, you should try and do things that bring positivity and light in your house, in your life, in your workspace. And I try and do that everywhere I go, even though I literally, the part of me where I used to care so much about what people think, about how Connor is and how he behaves, and then I wouldn't want to take him to restaurants. That stopped. So I think support system-wise, you have to become a stronger support system for yourself. You have to work on your core being, and and the hard work starts with you as a parent. So yes, you can have support systems. It does help, I wouldn't lie. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are today without the Randburg Clinic School family, because Mr. Bachelor is like someone I've never met. He's awesome. I mean, I've never been to a school where I've gone through these difficult things and we've had meetings and he would be like, "Listen, it's nothing new to us, and we're going to start here and we want to work through this one, and we have a team. See, this is our team, and we're going to work through this, and it's going to be okay." And you actually feel that it is going to be. And really, it's been 2 years that Connor's been here, and our lives have changed so much, regardless now for the health problems that cannot be helped for. But other than that, Connor's a happy kid. He's happy. I mean, we can phone the school anytime with different things, challenges that we face, and they will help us in a different direction. And Mr. Bachelor also now put us in the direction to assist us with Connor's eyes. So, we could not ask for better. We cannot. So I think the majority of my support system, obviously it's us at home, husband and wife fighting the battles together as a team. The kids, some family members who are interested to assist and help sometimes, work people, and the school.
I am teacher Evelyn. I have been teaching Connor since last year, July. Last year, July, I was only teaching him reading, and beginning of this year, I've taken him in my class. He was really conscious of his condition. He will tell you before you even notice that I cannot see. My eyes are askew. I cannot do this because I cannot see it. That was more of his excuse than what we thought of him, because most of the kids didn't notice his skew eyes or didn't even talk about it as often as he did. But to him, it was attacking his confidence. So he will feel he has to mention it before you attack him on it.
How did he participate in any sports?
No, he struggled to do any activities that required him, like visual activities. Like he will avoid coloring competitions, he will avoid running, he will avoid any kind of sports. Most of the time, even playing soccer, he will say, I'm going to sit. Or he would rather talk with some other kids, do the talking.
You know, from pregnancy, Connor showed fight and grit. And he's still showing that today, 11 years later. He's a person that's got his own mind, own will. He's self-driven. If he wants something, it's his own now and he wants it, he will make sure he will get it. He must be, I think that's where we come in as a fault that we did, is that we always praised him for milestones that he's reaching and things like that, even though he took longer than normal peers. And we've rewarded him for those things, and now he wants a reward even if he just goes to the toilet. so he wants a reward for everything now these days. I think he's creating his own dictionary with all the words that he uses and the things that he calls us and that. But I think, and the more we try and get that out of him, I don't know why it sticks. He's like a sponge. He absorbs everything he gets. But one thing I must say, Connor, to me, he's a special kind of boy. He's my son. We love him to bits. As much as he can drive us up 10 walls at the same time, we will always be there for him and always push to better his life, so he can live a more comfortable life. Because knowing what he's been through over the 10 years, 11 years nearly, it's just, I've never known a child to go through so much. And my heart goes out to him. And he's just his own type of person, and that's what makes me proud of him, is that he knows how to stand his ground. And he's not an introvert, completely withdrawn or anything like that. He puts himself out there, and that's, even though he goes through what he goes through, he still shows character, and it's amazing to see that.
He wasn't born with his eyes like that. He, when the seizures started happening from the age of 2 onwards up until now, it affected his eyes. So it started putting strain in his eyes, so he's got an alternating squint. So he's been wearing glasses on and off since about 3 years old. 2.5 actually. Yeah, and so he's used to optometrists, so that's not a fear for him. And yeah, that is what has affected his alternating squint, but that also affects his balance. It gives him headaches. So Connor suffers from headaches more often than not, and which also causes nausea and vomiting at times, because migraines do push that forward. So we've been through many tests, and when Mr. Batchelor told us that he can assist us with this, it was like a dream come true, because the medical aid only covers so much also, and it's depleted every year. But at the end of the day, you know, it's affecting his quality of life. So I just pray that, because we spoke to the specialist, Dr. Hussein, and he said that they're going to unfortunately have to do both eyes at the same time, do the operation once. Because we were thinking they're going to do one eye and then the other eye. So they said no, because what happens is then obviously the muscles in the one eye is going to rely on the other muscle, and then it's just going to become alternating squint again. So that won't help anything. So they're going to do both eyes in January, and then it's going to take about 2 or 3 weeks to heal. And with Connor's strong will and busy being, the doctor said we're going to have to try and keep him calm. So that's going to be another challenge altogether, because Connor wants soccer fan. And but I believe that after this operation is done, he's going to have a better quality of life. He's going to be able to, because Connor struggles to see on screen and see on TV, and I think it would just be amazing to to see him seeing properly, to look at something without struggling. That would be great. It just makes me so emotional, because apart from all the things that he's been through, this is just another hurdle. And you know, he struggles to look at the TV and focus on things, and at times walk properly and maintain his balance, and live a little boy life that he should, you know, and be happy. And his eyes have really affected his life so much, and it's not been easy to watch him struggle like this. So I think when this operation is done and it's a success, I mean, that would be so great. Like I said, just imagine him looking at things without struggling to look at them. Double vision all the time cannot be nice. So even though you try and just live life every day, like, you know, we're in survival mode, we cope, we focus and stuff. But when you see your child struggling with these things, like we take for granted, it's hard, you know. But as hard as it is for us, it's so hard for him. So I just want him to, like, we're scared, but we're also happy at the same time. So I really don't know how to explain the feeling of what we're going through right now, but that's why we said we're definitely doing a great holiday this year. We're going to the coast, and he will have the best time of his life. And then January comes, and we will sort it out. And I believe it's going to be a success, because at Randburg Clinic they have done and performed many of these procedures. And when we went, we could see that they know what they are talking about, they understand, and we feel that it's going to be okay. That's what we feel.
I'm petrified. I'm petrified if something has to go wrong. I myself will never want to go for surgery, so I'm sending my child now for it, and it's petrifying for me. But it means the world to me is that Mr. Batchelor got this involved, and managed to get it organize it for us. And me knowing that over many years we've wanted to, but we're never able to. With it being done now, it's going to be an amazing feeling to see him open his eyes and look at a person properly, clearer, and be able to see where currently he's always tilting backwards to read something like that, or watching TV with his head tilted because he can't see properly, and his eyes are always causing him headaches, and it would just be amazing to not have that problem anymore.
Fears is that something obviously doesn't go the way anyone has planned. I think that is why I cry, because I'm scared. I obviously don't want, you know, it's nerve-wracking, because eyesight is very important for you to, you know, see for your quality of life. But so my fear is that it doesn't go the way we planned. But we're going to maintain and be focused, and then the outcome of it would be obviously Connor's eyes and squint, you know, is not there anymore, and then he can see properly without having blurry vision, and he doesn't have to struggle to see anymore. He can literally look at things, because what he does is he tilts his head to try and see sometimes, to put it into his focus. Even though he has glasses on, sometimes the glasses don't work, because it depends on how tired he is. then it would be, harder for the one eye than the other one. So it all depends on his day that he's had. But imagine not having that anymore. So I just want him to be happy. So at the end of the day, if this all goes well, I cannot explain the feeling that we will all have and how he would still, how he would be afterwards. We wouldn't have to worry about him not, being off balance, becoming dizzy because of his eyes, getting headaches. It would be a dream come true for him to just live a healthier life, in actual fact. It would make the world of difference for him and for us.
My fears is that it triggers something that's already wrong with him. So the operation, I just hope it doesn't trigger something and make things worse. I pray for that and pray that nothing goes wrong. I myself fear needles and knives and things like that when it comes to theatre. So putting him in that position puts a great fear in me. I just, what I'm looking forward to is the fact of opening his blue eyes, the way we always say he's got the most beautiful blue eyes in the world. Opening those eyes and he can see properly and clearer. And that is what I'm looking forward to the most. And him not battling with the illness that he has.
What I'm doing today is I'm fixing my eyes and I'm wearing different clothes and I'm a doctor. And also my parents are here and I'm fixing my eyes.
My name is Dr. Shabir Hussain. I am ophthalmologist, specialist eye surgeon. Originally from Pakistan, but came to South Africa in 1991. And I am doing some ophthalmic work, diseases of the eye, the surgery and different things. So that is my profession. And on top of that, I do some community projects. So that will also help helping people, which is indeed in some areas. I was contacted by Kufefi Radio, and gentleman is very good for community worker. And he said there is a school where special children are getting help. If I can come there and see what we can do for them as a doctor. So we made a date, and then we some doctors and some other people from our Islamic Circle of Southern Africa, ICSA organization, we went there, we saw the place, schools, visited, and we came to know what type of people, children are there, and met with the students, with the teachers. So we actually estimated what is the problems and can we do something for them. So in that a day visit, we saw few children along with this was this special boy. So he was there. So when I saw immediately, I specialist said, hey, what this child? Hey, he is not feeling well because of the squint. And then the teacher said, doctor, something can be done for this child's eyes. He was born like that. I said, no problem, let me see. And I checked, and both eyes were healthy. And then they were working together, but one eye was going in, not straight in sometime. And that gave us a little bit of difficulty for the child to see the other children. Other children may be making like questioning what is happening, what is your eye like that, and he has to answer. That is a psychological thing as well, mechanical thing. So I said, if possible that we can help. So he said that no problem, we bring him. So the parents came one day here. I checked. I said, this is not a problem. This is a case which I always do. I have done hundreds and hundreds that. And in South Africa, many people have a myth that if some child is born with eyes like that, crooked eye, it is some type of curse or some type of big problem, and he is carrying a problem which can be transferred to other people. And they take it as some kind of a bad thing in the eyes. So, because I'm in this field in this country from 1991, so we see we can correct it. When there's correct it, we can't imagine what the pride they feel, the pleasure they feel, so the confidence they feel at the workplace, in the school. So it is really marvelous kind of thing. So I offer them, and they brought the child. I estimated. I said, no, we can do it. So they agree. They were surprised first. They said, hey, let us try. And then they came here one day. We estimate. We take the estimation, and we fix a date. That day you come under general anesthetic, and we do the operation. So usually, because the defect was big, usually it's one operation is sufficient. But in case after doing the operation, there's a remnant of a little bit. We may go second operation, but usually it is one operation. So we went that day, parents were outside, and we did the operations about 2 hours, 1 hour 30 minutes, 2 hours operation. And it went very well. So very next day the child was very happy. That is the story. We were expecting something may be special for anesthetic. When we give the gases and everything, because he was not like 100%, there was something little bit involved, so it may have difficulty in those things. For the eyes we assessed, I didn't find any problem in the eyes. The muscle was well built, and they were working very well. It was the adjustment of muscles that they work together. So we have to make them work together, and I didn't expect anything as such in the eye, and I didn't get a surprise. Although we get surprise sometime, we see there are two muscles. One muscle is coming from this side attached to this area. Sometimes a third muscle is coming from somewhere attached there, so we surprised. But there were no surprises. It went straight forward. And I'm happy that at least that child is a happy child. Not only him, his family, other colleagues, other students in the school, parents. Now they know if somebody is like that, where, and they can be helped. All the eyes surgeon, they can do this one, and they're doing it. Yeah, this operation, if it is in a right position, right angle, everything, it stays. So there's not anything which can affect the muscle as such. Muscle is hidden somewhere, very nicely protected. So when we stitch the muscle to the other part of the eyeball, it is quite a strong stitches, and it heals so quickly that it becomes part of the eyes. So instead of giving fear to the child that you must be not doing this one, general protection for the thing, not externally rubbing the eye, not putting finger in the eye and try to see something, do something. Otherwise, there's no special precaution. This operation doesn't need that precaution what other people like for cataract operation, glaucoma operation. They should be like not sleeping their side for a few days, or it is very well not lifting weight. But this one, there's no problem. This healing is so perfect, and this is a strong muscle, strong eye. So I don't think that he must be having anything fear in the brain rest of the life that what it must not go back to the original state. No, it won't go in the original position. This position will be permanent until his adulthood. Everything will be the same.
Well, it's boosted his self-confidence a lot, and he's much, happier and focused, and it's brought us a lot of joy, and it went well and it was a great success. So I think everything in the household's been much better since the operation, and he's more balanced, and all that stress and heartache and everything is actually just out the door, which we prior to the operation I was a bit of a wreck, but now it's going really well. And regarding our family and so on, they've been very supportive, and my sisters especially, and my mom and his cousins, and I think they're the reason for his boost in confidence, because when they see him they're like, "You look so beautiful," and then he says, "I know," because he's got like the boost is like he's now Mr. South Africa, he's the one. So all the attention, I think, has brought him a lot of, he's out there, he's spontaneous, he's happy, and I think that makes us all happy, because prior it wasn't that, and now it is. So I'm very grateful for that. And also Mr. Batchelor has given us so much support, and we can't thank him enough for everything he's done for us and where he's brought us and the journey with Connor. And we've actually watched a movie called Front in the Class, and the principal was great in bringing out the special needs children and telling them, and helping them being accepted. And when I watched that, I was just in tears, because he's such a great principal. He actually accepts these kids for who they are, and that's all they want. So I believe that a school can make or break a child, teachers, everybody, and he's just a great inspiration to us all.
The issue of Connor was always dear to my heart, because this is a young man that his facial distortion with his eyes really ostracized him and was causing his behavior problems. He was being rejected from when he was a baby. Even at school they were rejecting him, and the children didn't want to be with him because they felt that they could contract what he has with his eyes. And it was sad. It has always been something that was tugging at my heart, and I was always wishing that we could do something about him, and we could do something about it. And the honest truth is, I think I'm more excited and I'm more proud of what has happened than his own parents, because like I always tell you, when they walk into the school, I'm their father, and that is one of my children, and I am over the moon that this collaboration could have brought and yielded such a success story, because I am literally, this is one of my highlights of my career, because we literally could change a boy's life and put him on a new direction.
The Connor situation was just something that just came out of the grounds. The principal, when the doctors came here to have a meeting, which I was facilitated with the principal grabbed the opportunity to mention Connor, not knowing that Dr. Hussein is one of the leading eye surgeons here in the country, and he's the one that is basically doing all the cataract operations for our people that don't have the money to go to private clinics, and they do it free of charge. And he engaged with them. He told them about Connor. He told him about the difficulty that Connor and his family is going through, and Connor as a child also the difficulty that he's going through. And a match was made there. And because Dr. Hussein is such a lovely hearted person and always wanted to help, an immediate appointment was then arranged there to say that if they are ready, let them come to me. Joseph will bring them to you. And that's what myself and Mr. Batchelor did. And that resulted in Connor being in the space of the doctor. And it's a doctor that is really compassionate about children and about communities and want to help people. And that's where the arrangements for the operation and everything took place.
The operation was scary that day, especially when he didn't want to wake up. How late was it? We waited until like 7, 8 at the hospital for him to wake up. And that day you became my superhero. Yeah, you were very strong.
Yeah.
And when he woke up, just showed sharp. That's all true. Back then he used to struggle watching TV. He would have to sit right up against the TV basically to watch. Now he still does it out of habit, but he can focus on the TV from a distance.
He's also a lot more cautious now with what he does. The way every time we're leaving somewhere, he's always constantly asking us for his glasses, so he is aware of his eyes and he does take care of them. Whether we go out or even if he has to go bath, he's cautious that water even gets into it. So it's a good thing that he's aware and hasn't forgotten about it.
Kona, how do you feel with your eyes
Good.
since the surgery?
Good.
Has it improved your playing? How's it watching TV now?
It's still a little bit nice, but
You don't struggle playing games anymore.
no.
You play nicely.
And when you're running after the ball, when you're playing soccer?
I do get the ball sometimes because now when my eyes were like I couldn't get the ball, but now when my eyes are straight, I can get the ball and touch it.
How is it playing with him now after the eye surgery?
It's fun. It's much more fun because he's not scared to run. It's nice and he plays video games better.
Oh.
And it's really nice playing with him. And it's really nice because he plays video games with me when I play date, and it's really nice and I like it.
Connor, after the operation, I've noticed his fantastic boost in self-confidence. He's where he was previously very scared to come to school because of the mocking and the bullying regarding his eyes. He's on a different level. He wants to come to school. He wants to show people his eyes. Even though he's still got a bit of sensitivity to bright light, he's very strict at wearing his sunglasses. He'll go everywhere with them. And it's just boosted he looks like a different child. With his eyes, and it just brings the life out of him. And his self-confidence now and then when he gets his epileptic aura spells, there's a little bit of strain on his eyes that make him look a bit battling to focus. But other than that, he's self-confident. We've noticed him just looking straight at things, and he's very self-conscious of that as well. Every now and then he's going to run to the mirror to see that his eyes are still straight, and it just overjoys our hearts to see him with a better view and a better. We know that his journey in life is going to be so much better now with this operation done, and. From the bottom of our hearts, Mr. Batchelor has been wonderful to us, and for him stepping in when he did, to have this whole thing arranged, we were considering it, but it wouldn't have been done now. It would have only been done maybe in 2-3 years' time. But Mr. Batchelor pushed, and we are just so grateful to him. Mr. Cotti, SGB parent, which was also involved with the arrangements on this. Amazing. RCS, Randburg Clinic School, has just been overwhelming support to us for arranging this, and we really thank them from the bottom of our hearts for this. My sister-in-laws, his aunties, they've been very, very supportive. The cousins, very supportive of us and boosting Connor's self-confidence, which is something he always battled with.
and he's feeling a lot more positive about himself. And we've even seen a slight change in his behavior since then, and it's amazing. It's just, I want to thank the doctor as well for performing such a successful surgery, and his input and his follow-up checkups, and then God. I want to thank God for being there through this whole procedure, and his hand has been over Connor, and his hand will always remain over Connor, and it's just, he's kept us together as a family through the hard times, and yeah, it's just, we just praise God for the success in this, and I believe Connor's going to have a wonderful future going forward.
I'm happy that my eyes are healed and I can see better. Thank you to the doctor. Thank you to everyone following my journey.